No, we have not gone mad. Mahindra XUV700 and Volkswagen Tiguan sit in two different segments, but this comparison test is based on the question that you guys asked us. So on Instagram, Harish, he writes, "Hi Suresh, I've narrowed down two options. Tiguan 1.5 DSG, that's that one. XUV700, that's this one. Please advise, this is my first car, I'm looking for a driver's car, we are a family of 4 people. Usage would be 70% city, 30% highway." So this comparison test is for fence sitters like you, Harish. Now, before we go ahead, if you want to know more about the XUV700, we have done a full road test. We've also done an epic 24-hour endurance drive with it. The link should be somewhere out here. We've also compared it with the Tata Safari. That link should be out here. And as for the Tiguan, we've compared it with its main rival, the Hyundai Creta. That link should be out here somewhere. And before we go ahead with this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up.
Subscribe.
And the guys are also telling me that please subscribe to the Evo India channel and hit that bell icon to stay notified for our video drops. Before we get to the driving, let's take a brief moment to look at the prices. Now, I have to refer to the phone because the 700, the variant list is way too much for me to remember all of them. The range, it starts with the MX Petrol with the manual transmission, which costs 12.49 lakh rupees. Now, that is a stripped down variant. It doesn't have much in the way of features, but it does get the same 200 horsepower 2-liter turbo petrol engine and the same excellent chassis and suspension setup. So it will drive and handle really well, but it won't have much in the way of equipment. But it's a great starting point into the 700 range. Now, for the purposes of this test, what we have here is the AX7 with the luxury pack, which costs 21.29 lakh rupees. That is well over 4 lakh rupees more than the Tiguan with the GT Plus and the DSG gearbox. But the AX7, which is a little more comparable, is actually priced at 19.59 lakh rupees. So that is around 2 lakhs more than the Tiguan. But you also have to remember that Mahindra does offer the AX5 in the 700, and that specification is more or less identical to the Tiguan, the GT Plus with the DSG. That is at 17.09 lakhs, which is almost 50,000 rupees cheaper than the Volkswagen. So you have every sort of variant of the XUV to suit every sort of pocket, and that's why the demand is been through the roof. And that's it with the prices. But the features are even more exhaustive, and to talk to you about that, we have our in-house nerd, Rohit Nalambe.
Now what we have here is the Tiguan GT Plus with the 1.5 TSI engine and the DSG gearbox. Now the Tiguan gets 17-inch alloy wheels, a 10.1-inch infotainment screen which also comes with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. It also gets automatic climate control, an 8-inch digital cockpit, cruise control, LED headlamps with DRLs that come with a follow me home function. You also get a 3-year subscription to Volkswagen's Connect suite of features which give you vehicle connectivity, they give you vehicle real-time data, they also give you geofencing and an anti-theft alarm. Now talking about the XUV700, what we have here is the XUV700 with the luxury pack, but to compare it with the Tiguan, we'll be taking the features from the regular AX7. Now in addition to the features of the Tiguan, the XUV700, it gets ADAS features, it also gets an electronically adjustable driver's seat with a memory function. Also, you have 18-inch alloy wheels, something that is missing on the Tiguan, an air purifier, smart door handles, rain sensing wipers, and driver drowsiness detection. Also on the XUV are larger 10.25 screens, one for the infotainment system and one also for the digital cockpit. The XUV also gets a massive panoramic sunroof, something the Tiguan does not get, automatic headlamps with a booster function and Amazon Alexa connectivity. Also sequential turn indicators. And if you're looking for a 7-seater, this XUV700 is the only one that gets 7 seats. An important thing to notice, the mid-spec variant of the XUV700, which is the AX5, it gets all the features that you get with the top spec Tiguan GT Plus.
Now let's start with the Tiguan, the smaller one in this lot. Harish, he wants a driver's car. He is an enthusiast. He also wants something that's comfortable for 4. So that's a good thing because the Tiguan, it is comfortable for 4. For 5, it is a pinch. This is a bit narrow even when you compare it with the Creta. So forget the XUV 700. But as a 4-seater, this actually is very comfortable. So with me sitting comfortably in the driver's seat, behind me, there is enough place for me to stretch out, enough knee room, enough headroom. Overall, very comfortable 4-seater. Second, in terms of ride quality, actually the ride and handling on the Taygun, also on the Kushaq, is spot on. What has been Indianized on this platform is the use of Indian steel, locally available steel, and not imported steel. And that makes it a reasonably better priced car compared to what we've experienced in the past with Volkswagen. Rohit has talked you through the specs and the features on the Taygun, which honestly most of it went over my head. So the main things to remember, the Taygun, it also gets a digital cockpit. Though it does not occupy the full width of this cockpit, the edges, that black and red graphic, those are blank. So the cockpit is only the smaller size. It's not as big as the screen on the XUV 700. It gets a touchscreen infotainment, it gets wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, it gets a whole bunch of connectivity, so you can geo-fence, you can track the car, all of that, find out what fuel efficiency you are getting. It gets a sunroof, but it's only a regular size sunroof, not a panoramic sunroof. The seats, they're not cooled, but even on the XUV 700, they're not cooled. But these seats are actually like, because this fabric, it's not leatherette, this fabric that you're sitting on actually feels very comfortable and it is more supportive. So the side support that you get, even at the back, the side support that you get on these seats are actually better than the XUV 700. Though the 700 does have more space, there's no question about that. It is wider, more airy, more headroom, more of everything. But these seats feel sporty. A big reason why you should pick the Taygun in comparison with the XUV 700 is fuel economy. Now, in terms of performance, both are on par. Both will get you 0 to 100 in under 10 seconds. You'll get a better top speed on the XUV 700, but really that's academic in our situations and in our country. So on the Taygun, you will get double-digit fuel economy, whereas on the 700, you will struggle to get high single-digit fuel economy. So that is a big difference. We never really mention fuel economy on this channel, but we'd not be doing our job properly if we did not mention it out here. So to drive, this really is very, very nice. It does get a torsion beam rear suspension. It does not get independent suspension. In fact, the only reason why we're talking about independent rear suspension is because the XUV 700, that has independent rear. But otherwise, everything in this class gets a torsion beam rear, and that really doesn't compromise the way the Taygun goes down a corner or goes down a flowing road. This is fun to drive, proper fun to drive. There is a lot of grip from the front end, good bite from the nose. It is enthusiastic. It wants you to push through the corner, really experience what German cars are all about, which is a solid, enthusiastic and safe machine. So in terms of the powertrain, this is the 1.5 TSI engine, 148 bhp, 250 Newton meters of torque. It gets a 7-speed twin clutch automatic gearbox. Now obviously in terms of specs, it doesn't compare with the 2-liter engine on the Mahindra XUV 700. But you have to remember that this is a smaller car, this is a lighter car, and that means this too can do 0 to 100 in under 10 seconds. So in terms of straight line performance, both the Taygun and the XUV are on par, even though the spec of the engine is actually very different. On the plus side of the Taygun, the DSG gearbox, it definitely shifts quicker than the 6-speed torque converter on the XUV 700. The Taygun also gets paddle shifters, so you can manually control the gearbox, and overall you really are plugged into the driving experience. We said it in the past in our comparison tests with the Creta, with the Seltos, with its other rivals, that this is the benchmark for ride as well as handling, and that does not change in this test either. The other thing with the Taygun is that you sit low, so the seat is height adjustable. You can really sit low down. The steering, you can adjust it for reach as well as rake, so you get a very good driving position. The visibility out is really good, and now sitting so low, it doesn't feel like you're sitting in an SUV, it feels like you're sitting in a car, and that actually enthuses you. It encourages you to drive harder, faster, also connects you with the driving experience a little more, a little better. And now the XUV 700. Now, the first time I proposed the story in the office, the first question everybody asked was, what's the point? Because everybody rates the XUV 700 so highly. They just said, what's the point of this test? Because this will win it hands down. And honestly, this is damn impressive. We've done that epic 24-hour endurance run with this. We were driving it. I was driving it in the night at 200 kilometers per hour. It was doing average speed laps of 200 kilometers per hour. That's in this big SUV, and this is big. So in terms of the space, it definitely feels one size bigger than the Taygun in terms of the headroom, in terms of the width, in terms of the knee room, leg room. It's got a third row. Even the AX5 variant, which would compare with the Taygun on price, you can get a third row on that. So this is a 7-seater, and when you don't want it to be a 7-seater, only a 5-seater, you have a huge boot. And there's so many huge things on the XUV 700. For instance, this slab of digital real estate with the 2 screens, it definitely looks more techy, more high-end. This panoramic sunroof, even on the AX5 version, you get a panoramic sunroof, which is much bigger than the regular sunroof that you get on the Taygun. Performance, this gets a 2-liter turbo petrol engine with 200 horsepower, 197 bhp. That is 50 more than the Taygun. But it is also bigger and it is also heavier. So in terms of the performance, both are on par, 0 to 100 in just under 10 seconds. So if you do a drag race, both the Taygun and the XUV 700 will be neck and neck. The XUV, it has an advantage in that it can do a true top speed of 200 kilometers per hour. So that's around 20 kilometers per hour more than the Taygun. But otherwise, in terms of real world performance, both the Taygun and the XUV are evenly matched, and they are quick. They both deliver on the thrill of driving. In terms of the way it goes around corners, this XUV 700 is very good. Now it has the 2nd generation Koni FSD dampers and a multi-link rear with a control blade arm. So it definitely has the engineering chops, and it has the handling to really hassle the Taygun. Ultimately, when you're going around a fast, twisty section of road, the Taygun will pull slightly ahead, and especially if you're going up the hills, because of the Taygun's more compact proportions, it might really pull out a couple of yards on the XUV. But in the real world, both are on par. So if you're looking for something to really attack the hills, the Taygun, it inches that slight bit ahead. But on the highways, this really is damn impressive. Now, I did say that the Taygun has got a very good ride and handling balance, but the XUV 700, the low speed ride is even better than the Taygun. The high speed stability is actually slightly better than the Taygun thanks to those 2nd generation dampers. It goes over bad patches really impressively well. Rohit has already pointed out all the features that you get on the XUV and the Taygun. Stuff that you should know. Leather seats, but these are not cooled. So for India, the cloth seats of the Taygun actually are better. The Taygun has got more side support on the seats. It's got better bolstering, so it really holds you in place much nicer than the XUV. Though the XUV, you sit higher, you get electric adjustment for the seats with memory, much more features, that sunroof. Now, I'm not going to talk about the luxury pack, which this one has, because that the pricing really doesn't compare at all with the Taygun. So I won't talk about the Sony sound system and all that. But there's just so many variants on the XUV. So there is a variant to suit almost every single budget, and all the variants of the petrol get the automatic gearbox as an option. They get the 200 horsepower petrol engine. It gets the same sophisticated underpinning. So in terms of the engineering, it's all there for all the variants. It's only the features that progressively get added up on different variants of the XUV. What I would have liked, more weight to the steering, or at least it should just weigh up a little bit more when you build up speed. This is the turbo petrol, but it does not have drive modes, which is strange, right? The turbo petrol is the enthusiastic engine, so that zip zap zoom is only available on the diesel, not on the turbo petrol. That said, the XUV, you can also get a diesel engine. So if you want a diesel engine, you can't get it in the Taygun, you can only get it in the XUV. And the diesel also has an automatic gearbox. That diesel is also quick. That diesel also delivers 0 to 100 in under 10 seconds. So that is a quick engine. Plus, in terms of running cost, the diesel is better than the petrol. So you do have the option on the XUV. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, stuff I would like to be improved on the XUV. more weight on the steering, a little better brake feel on the road driving for a couple of days. I think a little better in terms of feel would be nice. In terms of the braking force, the effort, in terms of the braking ability, no problems at all. And this one does have disc brakes at the rear, unlike the Taygun, which has drum brakes at the rear. This also has larger, wider 18-inch tires, whereas the Taygun, it gets 17-inch tires, and the regular GT gets 16-inch tires. So it is better kitted out. And the other thing that I want to point out that I would have liked are paddle shifters for the gearbox. This is a smooth gearbox, no question about it. So only in comparison with the other DSG gearboxes do you feel that this is a bit lacking in terms of the shift speeds. But otherwise, in isolation, no problems at all. And it is also smooth, refined, silent. For Mahindra to turn out something like the XUV700 is a massive achievement for anybody for that matter. This could have a Volkswagen logo on it, it could have a Hyundai logo on it, it could have a Skoda logo on it. There are just no compromises to be made just because, okay, this is Indian, so we can accommodate this compromise or that compromise. Not at all. This is as good as the best cars that we're getting from global manufacturers. It is right up there, something to feel really proud about. I know I'm beating my chest, a lot of jingoism coming out, but for an Indian manufacturer to do this, to style this, to equip this, to price this so well.
Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. Obviously, the XUV700 is bigger than the Taygun. The XUV700 is a 7-seater. You can also get it in a 5-seater variant, but it is a 7-seater and that's why it is much larger. The Taygun, it's not a compact SUV. It is 4,221 mm long, 4.221 meters long, whereas the XUV700 is nearly 500 millimeters longer, and that means it does visually tower over the Taygun. Okay, so full disclosure, by the time we got down to putting this video together, Harish, he went and bought himself a Taygun 1.5, and I can see why he bought himself the Volkswagen, because he wants the car 70% of the time in the city. This is smaller, it is more compact, it is more nimble, easier to park, it is very good to drive, great in terms of handling, very good in terms of performance, so it meets all its criteria, all the thrill of driving criteria it meets, plus it works really well for 4 people in the city. And there is the one other crucial element, and that is the enormous waiting periods if you go out and buy an XUV700 today. That, I think, is the XUV's single biggest problem, and it's not hard to see why, because this is so good that the demand has been through the roof. You drive the XUV every single time and you're really amazed by, damn, how good is this thing? It is good in terms of performance, good in terms of handling, good in terms of the equipment, good in terms of the space, good in terms of the features. Everything is really spot on the XUV700. So that is Harish's question answered. But do you guys have any more interesting questions? Drop it in the comments below and we will take it up in one of our upcoming videos. And if you enjoyed this video, do give us a thumbs up, hit the bell icon to stay notified for our video drops, and don't forget to subscribe to the Evo India channel. Thanks for watching, guys.